What's up, everybody? Alex, the day trading champ. If you're looking for some pre-market analysis, some context going into the trading day, this is the video for you. Alright, so do me a favor, if you're not subscribed to the channel, do that right now so you don't miss out on the next video. That's going to help you just like this one. Okay, so with that being said, check it out pre-market. If you're not looking at the charts, you need to be. Okay, so you can see we're kind of triple bottoming already at these levels. Okay, so what you'll notice here yesterday is we had the zone where we triple bottomed pre-market, okay, and we were off to the races yesterday. Okay, so I accidentally sold out of my 3460 calls yesterday on the ES way too early. Okay, those could have been 400 percenters. I made a mistake. I sold out. I was just, wasn't so confident. Okay, just because the market conditions are so bearish as of now. We have pretty much a cup and handle failed breakout here. And overall, I still do have this bearish outlook for the market, but today can absolutely be a green day. Okay, so we're ready for it. You can see already triple bottoming just like we did yesterday. Alright, that's obviously very bullish today. On top of that, we have volatility signals pointing to bearish volatility, which is bullish for the markets today. Okay, so let me show you guys that. Alright, so guys, this is what I see here on volatility. You can see we got bearish formation of volatility here on the VIX. Okay, but not just VIX. Check out VIXN, which is going to be NASVOL. Obviously, if you don't know, NASVOL tracking NASDAQ, that's tech mostly. Okay, tech, the big driver of the market. Okay, so you can see we got bearish formation on tech volatility. Okay, on top of that, we've got gold volatility breaking below its bottom range. Okay, so GVZ is the volatility index for gold. If you didn't know, write that down, remember that, so you can be checking on this more often. Okay, so you see we've been trading in a tight range, kind of from 21.5 to 23ish range, and we're breaking through that bottom on some pretty significant move here, even when the dollar was actually breaking out higher yesterday. So that's a divergence that's actually bullish for gold here, and you can see gold breaking past its trend right now. So that's the only thing, it's a very iffy moment here because gold has been in a terrific downtrend if you've been shorting it with us like we have been. Okay, so you'll notice here this very significant downtrend in gold. But at the same time, this could be the end of that downtrend if gold volatility is going to start falling and breaking below that range that we just pointed out. Okay, so these are the volatility signals I'm seeing for the day. On top of that, let's go over currency pair Euro US dollar. Right, the euro can drop, a good bit lower here. Okay, which is obviously going to be bullish for the dollar. So that's why we are bullish on the dollar, and we still think there's a very negative market context right now. Okay, but with that being said, today this absolutely can be a green day for euro. All right, now if you don't know, we're not currency traders, but it's very important to nail your currencies because that's a very high correlation to the market. Okay, so we have these three, this bullish tear on the dollar here, and you guys know nothing goes up in a straight line, nothing goes down in a straight line. You're going to have corrections, you're going to have moves, and you can already see after this crazy bullish days we've had on the dollar, you're already getting a correction in the dollar right here. Okay, so let me pull that up on the bigger chart so you can see that. Okay, so you're getting a correction here. Now it's kind of funny because it looks exactly like these last 2 days here. So if it's anything like the last 2 days, we can actually expect the market to start dropping here. Okay, but like I said, volatility is signaling that that's the less likely case. And I'm not expecting it to repeat the exact same motion of these last 2 days. As you can see, it looks the exact same, right? But because of volatility, I would expect dollar to actually drop a little bit farther here. Okay, so overall, bullish on the day, but bearish on the future outlook, especially going into next week. Okay, so you'll see here when I was talking about the S&P being on a cup and handle filled breakout. Let me pull this up for you so it makes more sense. Okay, so you'll see here, if this thing will load. Okay, we got cup, failed breakout on the handle. Okay, so yesterday you see we have this pretty bullish day, and considering that we were able to recover all these losses after a pretty significant gap down. Okay, on top of that, you'll see that the sell volume wasn't necessarily there. Now I don't like looking at the sell volume on SPX. I find it to be not as showing or easy to tell as on the SPY. Okay, so no crazy significant sell volume here. But overall, they honestly were accumulating it on the way up. Okay, so they recovered those losses for the most part almost completely yesterday, which is pretty bullish. At the same time, you got that triple bottom already today, okay, that you'll see here. It's not so apparent on the 1 hour chart. Of course, these things can change, guys, but it is something to keep in mind. Now, understand here, look, we got cup, handle. Okay, so at the break of this line of 34.90, that's going to be very bullish. Okay, but at the market open, things like to sell off a lot of times, so we can drop back. Okay, and then overall we can probably, if volatility is still signaling everything we just talked about, that would still be bullish after whatever initial drop we might get at the beginning, right? Or I could be wrong, we could just get a complete bullish tear through this cup and handle. All right, so it's funny because I was talking about cup and handle on the SPY here on a daily chart, but we actually have an intraday cup and handle, which is kind of nice. Okay, so let me just draw that price level here for you. Okay, so you can see this. All right, that's the top of the cup and handle. As you break through that 34.91, that's pretty bullish here. Okay, on top of that, you got the triple bottom going into that cup and handle, which gives you more confidence. Okay, so guys, be careful holding your long positions. Obviously, like I said, very bearish outlook here coming in the near future, but this can absolutely be a green day and one of the last. Okay, I think next week is when we might start seeing more of a drop. Okay, but today we might try to hold up just a little, especially after the strength we showed yesterday. Okay, but overall the MACD accumulation, everything is pointing to a move lower here coming in the near future. Okay, so I'm not necessarily a bear or bull. Like I said, we're sharks. We just play what the market gives us, and as of now, even with our bearish outlook, for the daily, right, on the daily chart, or at least for today, volatility signals for a recovery day today, possibly. Okay, so be ready for that. You got a very bullish formation here on the intraday chart. But obviously be ready because Fridays are very choppy, and if a trade starts going against you with Friday expiring options, you know how quickly you can lose money there. Okay, so always know what you're doing before you jump into any trades, and this brings me back to my Netflix trade that I had planned for yesterday. Okay, so Netflix obviously has pretty high correlation to the market. It's got a good stake in the S&P 500. It's one of the market movers. So we're talking about this Netflix short, and at the same time it still looks very good, especially after earnings, right? But you have to consider that the earnings are coming out on the 20th, and today is the October 16th. Okay, so they can absolutely pump Netflix going into earnings here. All right, now the reason I was so confident yesterday is because I'm looking at the Netflix chart, and there's a lot of reasons for this thing to move lower, and here's the thing, it still can, it just might not be today, guys. Okay, so you got earnings coming soon, and you have a higher probability that they might try to pump that up. Okay, but overall bearish outlook. Alright guys, the next thing I considered about this Netflix trade is, you'll notice here Zoom, okay, had a very strong day, one of its strongest days in a while, okay, which is obviously another COVID beneficiary just like Netflix. Alright, now check out Peloton, also has a very strong day. See, it was starting to dwindle down a little. Not necessarily. You'll see the volume was starting to come down a little. I was thinking maybe we're reaching the top here on Peloton, but not necessarily the case when you're starting to see the increased volume, right? So, of course, Peloton can also drop, but, with the increased volume, it's just a trade I'd rather not take, right? Not trying to short this thing at its all-time highs as of now because of that significant volume you got there. So, I just want to point out that when you got other COVID beneficiaries very similar to Netflix having extremely strong days yesterday, that gives me a little bit less confidence with that Netflix trade. Okay, so obviously we're going to react intraday. Obviously, if Netflix is hitting some key levels and showing weakness, we won't be slow to jump on that. Okay, but as of now, that dollar is correcting hugely here, and volatility is signaling that it can actually correct more. Okay, now if dollar starts showing strength, then you'll have a higher probability to start going short on these things. Okay, but as of now, just wait a little, and then obviously come to your own conclusions based on the observations that you're making throughout the day. Alright guys, the next trade I want to get into that we went over yesterday, ISRG. Okay, so we were talking about possibly shorting the bounce on ISRG, and I'm starting to second guess myself and doubt myself a little more, especially after I made the mistake of saying that they missed on revenue. Okay, they did not miss on revenue, guys. My mistake there. They actually beat earnings. Okay, now nothing significant, nothing too crazy. Okay, but they did beat earnings. So the fact that they beat earnings but they're down so much, that might be a long play, not a short play like I called out yesterday. Obviously, I'm really not liking the setup as much, and I'd really have to go back and look at the charts a lot more for ISRG. So I'm very hesitant on this trade now as well. Okay, so it's a very uncertain time here. All right, the dollar can either correct a lot harder or it can start showing strength, and that really just depends on gold volatility and these other factors. Okay, so if you're not confident today, you can sit out, guys. It's okay. It's sad to see a Friday go by that you don't trade because trading Friday options are so profitable, especially if you're trying to grow a smaller account. These are some of the best days, but it seems like next week might be the time where we really start getting some crazy momentum or movement going. Okay, so understand we've really corrected here on the S&P within the last few days, and obviously your probability of another down day goes down, okay, especially after the strength we showed yesterday. Okay, so just be very aware of that, and that's what gives our trades that we pointed out yesterday weakness. Okay, so of course I want to have a bias for my own trades, guys. I came up with these trades myself yesterday, but at the same time you got to realize when you got some flaws and when you got some weakness in what you're talking about. Okay, so there's definitely some weakness in these trades that I wanted to point out going into the trading day today, and then overall I wanted to give you a little bit of context going in to the market today. Okay, so with that being said, if you like videos like this that are going to help break down some trades for you, give you plans and ideas, this is absolutely the channel for you, and I'll be really happy if you subscribe to the channel and stick around for the future, guys. We got a lot coming. So with that being said, guys, drop a like if you enjoyed the video. I'm Alex, the day trading champ. Hopefully you found this useful, and I'll see you guys on the next video.